As the son of legendary soul singer Eddie Levert, one of the lead vocalists of the O'Jays, Gerald grew up aspiring to walk in his father's footsteps.
That's all I ever wanted to be, man. Proud to say that that's my dad.
Raised in a suburban neighborhood of Cleveland, Ohio, he lived in a mansion with his parents and siblings where he transformed their large basement into a practice venue, using broomsticks as microphones and wearing the O'Jays concert outfits. On numerous occasions, Eddie tried to steer his son away from the unpredictable nature of the music industry by encouraging him to learn the grand piano that sat in the foyer of their home. But Gerald was determined to become a superstar, hoping to win a Grammy one day. As time passed, Mark Gordon, a close family friend's son who frequently visited the Levert household, developed a strong bond with Gerald. Together with his younger brother Sean and several of their friends as bandmates, they formed a group, adopting the family name as their moniker. Even though all three of them were musically talented, Gerald took the lead with Sean occasionally on drums and Mark often on the keyboard. Determined to share their music with the world, Eddie pitched Levert's demo tapes to multiple labels. After facing constant rejection from executives claiming his son sounded too much like him, Eddie and one of his good friends took matters into their own hands by establishing a record company to release a collection of songs for Levert. The first single received commercial airplay thanks to Eddie promoting it to DJs. During a concert in Washington, D.C., the head of Atlantic Records' Black Music Division was so impressed with their stage presence that he immediately extended an offer. They signed a record deal that excluded the band and went on tour performing their various releases. In 1986, their debut album from Atlantic featured a hit single that solidified Mark and Gerald as the primary songwriters for the group. Yet it was their crossover track on their next album, written by brothers Reggie and Vincent Calloway, former members of Midnight Star, that propelled them forward. From then on, it was hit after hit, notching 7 consecutive top 10 singles, 3 of which reached number 1. When a duet with Mickey Howard sparked gossip in the rumor mill after their onstage chemistry hinted at a budding romance, Gerald disclosed that he was reluctant to join a pre-existing family, as Mickey already had 2 sons.
I had 2 children, you know, and then he would say, I don't want a ready-made family.
In contrast, he eventually fathered 3 children with 3 different women. In 1988, the group released an album and single of the same name, spotlighting a verse from a rapper that hit a home run straight out of the ballpark.
The overweight lover, heavy tea is cool.
Eager for new horizons and relishing the attention he received from women who screamed for him on stage, Gerald began contemplating a solo project after their 4th album presented a ballad so sensual that it redefined the term baby-making music.
Oh, baby.
The innovative crime movie New Jack City was the first and most popular film Levert was ever cast in. They portrayed a harmonizing street group singing around a burning trash can at a public housing complex.
Oh, yeah.
Gerald's first solo release in 1991 quickly took the #1 spot and included a track with his father that clearly highlighted their deep emotional connection with one another. In 1993, Levert delivered their 6th studio album, but the dynamic between them had shifted. Having tasted the highs of solo success, Gerald decided to finally separate from his partners since childhood. Mark moved to California and Sean pursued other ventures. Now a full-fledged soloist, Gerald struggled to balance his work schedule, his well-being, and the financial pressures pulling at him from numerous sources. Decision-making and touring responsibilities became overwhelming. To cope, he relied on prescription pills to ease his discomfort while releasing top-selling albums, including a full LP with his dad. In 1997, he became 1/3 of LSG with Keith Sweat and Johnny Gill, forming a trio of R&B legends. He then dropped Love and Consequences, followed by his 5th studio album that went gold. But none of his subsequent releases made any significant impact on the charts. As record sales diminished, he remained driven to produce more hits, continuing to financially support those around him. His sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise, and overeating led to weight gain and other health issues. In 2003, he reunited with members of LSG for a final album. Recognizing a need for a change at his heaviest, Gerald set health goals and decided to lose weight. In 2005, while playing volleyball, he tore his Achilles tendon. The tear was so severe that it needed surgery and required him to spend several weeks in a full-length leg cast, followed by more weeks of limited activity. With his usual expenses and recently reduced income, Gerald pushed himself to return to work before he fully recovered, using medication to mask the pain, prioritizing his career over his health, a reality that mimicked one of the many warnings his dad had given him since he was a teenager. He became increasingly dependent on prescription medication and over-the-counter sleep aids like Excedrin PM and NyQuil as his need for a financial breakthrough intensified. He scuffled with unprecedented worries and the fear of the unknown. The future direction of his career was uncertain and it burdened him. In late October 2006, Gerald and his father traveled to South Africa for a 3-date performance in Johannesburg, where they also had the rare privilege of meeting Nelson Mandela. During their visit, Gerald fell ill from a painful bite on his back from an insect that was never identified. He was treated at a local hospital and discharged with a topical cream. Shortly after returning home, he noticed that he could hear himself wheezing with each breath. Concerned, he visited his doctor on November 7th, where he underwent an examination and showed no signs of serious illness. He was reassured that he was fine and sent home with prescriptions and instructions to rest and stay hydrated. Later that evening, he developed new symptoms including fever, chills, and debilitating muscle aches. Desperate for relief, he took multiple remedies to alleviate the agony. The side effects caused him to sleep for extended hours over the next few days. On November 10th, the house was quiet throughout the morning, which was a troubling sign that something was wrong. A close family member realized that they had not heard Gerald coughing or the painful moaning sounds he made during his recent days. The relative decided to check on him and found Gerald unresponsive in bed. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors tried to revive him, but sadly he was unable to be saved. In the afternoon of Friday, November 10th, Gerald Edward Levert was pronounced dead at the University Hospital Geauga Medical Center in Chardon, Ohio. Right away, it was assumed by many that he had a heart attack, until weeks later when an autopsy revealed a heartbreaking truth. His system contained a mix of doctor-prescribed medication and over-the-counter drugs, including the fatal combination of Vicodin, Percocet, Darvocet, Xanax, and 2 off-the-shelf antihistamines. It is also disclosed that he had pneumonia. The official cause of death was ruled an acute intoxication. He was only 40 years old. His final album was released the following year in 2007, winning him the Grammy he always wanted. A bittersweet epilogue to a life filled with both brilliance and struggle.
And the Grammy goes to, in my songs, Mr. Gerald Levert.
I just want to say, Big G, rest in peace.
Granted that his early death was a shock, Gerald Levert's legacy lives through the deep-seated influence he made on the world of R&B. He is celebrated not only as the son of a legend, but also as a legend in his own right. Thanks for watching.